everyone, in this video I'm going to show you how to join as you go granny squares when you have solid granny squares. So I am just going to join my 4 granny squares just like this using the join as you go method. The one thing you need to know about the join as you go method is when you have your square, the join as you go method will create a whole nother round. So for this square I have 6 rounds of stitches. Once I complete the join as you go, this will be a total of 7 rounds. So before you start joining as you go, you have to have one square that is already one more round than the squares you are joining. So these are 6 rounds. This one is 7 rounds. I went ahead and made an extra round, and then we will start joining to this square. Okay, so I'm going to begin with joining this yellow square to my white square. Again, this is 7 rows, this is 6 rows. So at the end, all of my squares are going to have a total of 7 rows. So my first square needs to have 7 rows to begin with. And I am joining with white because I want a white nice border around each of my squares. If you don't want a matching border for all of your squares, then you would just use the color of your square that you're joining. So if I didn't want a white border, I would be using yellow to join this to the first square. So I'm just going to attach my yarn, and I'm going to complete one edge of the square as if I was just adding on another row to my granny square. So this is going to hold true to all of the squares that you are joining as you go. You will want to complete the first edge of the square first. So I'm just going to go ahead and continue to make this first edge of this square. So here I've completed the edge of my square. I haven't worked into my corner yet. So I'm going to work half of my corner. So typically I would do 2 double crochets, chain 2, and 2 double crochets for this entire corner. I'm just going to do 2 double crochets and a chain 1. Now at this step I'm going to join it to this first square. So I'm going to find the corner of my first square. I'm going to insert my hook and then grab the yarn and do a chain 1. And there they are joined. So that will count as chain 2. So I chained 1 and then I joined it with another chain. So those are 2 chains. Now I need to complete this corner by doing 2 double crochets. So I'm going to do 1 double crochet. I'm going to go back to this square and I'm going to find where that first stitch is and slip stitch. And then another double crochet into this corner to finish off the corner. Go back to the square I'm joining to, go into the next stitch and slip stitch. So I'm just going to continue to alternate making double crochets on this square, going back to the first square and slip stitching. So I'm going to find my next stitch, double crochet, go back to my first square, find the next stitch and slip stitch. So here you can see I am literally joining as I go. While I'm making the 7th row, I'm joining to this first granny square with a slip stitch. So here's my next stitch, double crochet, go back to my first square, and slip stitch. So I'm alternating back and forth between the square I'm joining to and the square I'm working on. It's easier to see when you lay it flat. Once you get the hang of it, you can kind of just pick them up. This is how I normally would hold it. So I have the square I'm working on in front, and then in the back is where I am slip stitching into. So once you do this for quite a few squares, you'll probably get the hang of where you are inserting your hook, so then you can hold them up comfortably versus laying them down on a surface and crocheting them together. But it is easier to see exactly where you are working when you lay them flat. So I'm going to go ahead and continue to join as I go all the way down until I get to my corner. So here I am at my corner, and you should have 2 stitches up here on this first square, and then just your corner down here, and then we are going to finish up our corner. So we will want to double crochet into that corner, slip stitch up here, double crochet again into that corner, and then slip stitch into that next and last stitch. And then to finish up our corner, we will need 2 chains and then 2 more double crochets. So go ahead and go into this corner and slip stitch, and that will be chain 1, and then go ahead and make another chain, and then 2 more double crochets into your corner. And then you will just go ahead and continue to crochet around for your 7th row to complete that square. So as you can see, it's completely joined, and again it adds that last row onto the square you're joining. So all you need to do is continue to crochet around to complete this square. So I finished crocheting around to finish that last and final row of this square. If I had more squares to join, which you probably do, especially if you're doing a blanket of some sort, you will want to keep adding here to make a long strip of rows. So you would just join as you go, just as we did here. You're just adding them on horizontally to have your first row complete. So next I will do my second row. So this is the color I'm going to put here. I already finished my first edge and half of my corner here. So I'm going to join it here, and this is the corner I will start working into from this first square. So here I have my 2 double crochets, chain 1, because my corner is a chain 2, go into this corner on this first square, that is the square I'm joining to, slip stitch, which counts as a chain 1, double crochet into the corner, go back to this first square, slip stitch, and then back into the corner to finish that corner. Then slip stitch back up into that first square, find my next stitch, and I'm just going to continue to do that. This is the same exact thing that we did for this first square up here, since we're only joining it on one side. This next square here, we will have to join it on both sides, and that's basically like the 2 types of things you'll have to learn. joining it on just one edge and then joining it on 2 edges. So I'm going to go ahead and complete this square just like I did this one, and then I'll show you how to join for 2 edges. Okay, now I'm ready to join this square with the 2 edges I need to join. So I went ahead and did my 7th row and then half of my corner, and I'm going to first join up here. And this is basically the same concept as if we were joining just one edge. So I'm going to find the corner up here. And again, I already did 2 double crochets, chain 1. So here I'm going to slip stitch, act as a chain 1, and then double crochet. Come back up here, find the next stitch to slip stitch into. Back down here onto my square to finish up my corner. There I have 2 double crochets in there. Go up here. Slip stitch, come back down to this square, find the next stitch, and I'm just going to continue to do this just as I would if I was just joining one edge. I basically just have to teach you how to join at this corner up here. So I'm going to continue to do this until I get to that corner. Okay, so I went all the way down. I finished half of my corner, so there's 2 double crochets in here. My last stitch was a double crochet. So now to finish off this corner, I need a chain 2. So what I'm going to do is grab this corner here and slip stitch into it. That's going to count as 1 chain. And then I'm going to grab this corner here that is diagonal or catty corner to the square up here. So I'm going to find the corner there and slip stitch into there. And that will be my chain 2. And then now I can rotate my work and continue to join onto this square. So since I just did my chain 2, going to double crochet 1, come back up here, slip stitch, and then 2 double crochets to finish my corner. So that is basically it. I will continue to join as I go down here. We already learned how to join to this last corner, so I will just continue to join. And then once I get to the end here, I will continue to finish my last row up to here. And then that will be my second row. If I had more rows up here, I would continue to join here. I would have a square up here already, so it will be another 2-edge join. So if you're making a blanket, a bulk of it is going to be joining these 2 edges, except for, of course, your first strip and then your first square of each row. So bulk of it will be adding those 2 edges, and then that's it. So I hope you learned something new. I hope you like this new method, and I hope you use it for your next project.